Why does the Earth seem to be put here on purpose? Even if there is a slight deviation, we may not exist. In order to give you an intuitive feeling, this time you throw me on the spaceship, experiencing the scariest environment on these satellites in the solar system. Then you will know how rare the Earth is in the universe. In the first stop, I started with Titan, the most hopeful name. As Saturn's giant satellite, its extremely cold temperature and thick atmosphere will be an extremely dangerous journey for me. This is the only satellite in the solar system with a thick atmosphere. Suddenly, a strong pressure came in. The air pressure here is 1.5 times that of the Earth. I feel like I'm at the bottom of the sea 15 meters deep. It's a mess around me. Atmospheric composition analysis shows that 95% is gas, 50% is methane. I have to pay close attention to the sealed nature of the spacecraft. Any trace of oxygen leakage may cause a disastrous explosion. I carefully began to explore. You see, there are lakes shining in the distance. This is the only land on the solar system with liquid lakes, except for the Earth. The temperature here is extremely low. Liquid gas balls will fall like rain and form these lakes. The detector shows that the lake is filled with liquid gas balls below 180 degrees Celsius. I am collecting samples along the lake. I slipped and fell into this cold lake. The density of the gas balls is only half that of the water. I can't float at all. I can't even struggle. My body sinks uncontrollably. It's so fast that I can't even move a circle. I won't be drowned. Because before I realized that I needed to breathe, my lungs and the whole body were completely frozen in a matter of seconds. It turned into an eternal ice sculpture. If this experience is full of 10 points, I'll give Titan a 9. I made it very simple and very distinctive. -1 point is because I was frozen twice. One time is the potential risk of explosion. Since we're still near Saturn, why don't we go to look at Saturn II, Enceladus? The temperature here is lower than that of Titan. It's down to -201 degrees Celsius. Its diameter is only 504 kilometers, 10 times smaller than that of Titan. So the gravity here is only 0.113 meters per square second, which is 100 times lower than that of the Earth. Its small size also means that it can feel any earthquake activity in any part of this satellite under the huge gravity of Saturn. These activities are very powerful. They can tear apart the entire ice layer and throw it into space or cause strong eclipses. They can bury me and let me be swallowed by ice and snow. Under these ice layers that almost buried me, there is a hidden ocean. In the Antarctic region, the thickness of the ice shell is about 1.94 kilometers. I saw a huge sphincter from afar, coming out of the cracks in the ground, constantly spraying ice crystals into space, and continuously sending matter to the core of Saturn. When I tried to dig through the ice layer, the detector issued a fatal alarm. These eruptions not only have ice, but also a lot of gas buried in the core, such as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen peroxide. This is the kind of poison that spies take to avoid interrogation in spy movies. Scientists believe that hydrogen peroxide is one of the chemical bases that create life. But when it is directly sprayed on the face, it is the signal for the end of life. A strong spray burst out of the cracks on my feet, without any signs, and sprayed my mask. Within a minute, I experienced a shortness of breath. And then everything was over. Unfortunately, before I could explore the huge ocean under the ice layer, I hung up. This time, I gave Saturn a 2-4. The process was a bit of a mess, and I didn't even have a chance to see the most exquisite underground ocean on this planet. The experience was too bad. Saturn has too many satellites. It's impossible to hit every one of them at once. But there's another one we have to see. Saturn I, Mimaz, a dead star in real life. The huge Herschel crater on its surface, 130 kilometers in diameter, 10 kilometers deep, is like a giant eye in the abyss. This huge crater is like a cartoon. I can't help but want to explore it. When I dive into this huge crater, the gravity here is extremely low, only 0.044 meters per square second. So, this is going to be a long fall. For 9 minutes, in the endless darkness, the only thing I can do is waiting for the final crash. Although the descent was slow at first, when I hit the bottom of the crater, the speed has accelerated to 129 kilometers per hour. For the final crash, I had to wait for 9 minutes. It's too long. I gave Saturn 3 points, leaving Saturn. Next stop, let's go to the largest satellite on Mars, Jupiter. If you think Mimas is small, then Jupiter is a mini-world. It's only 22 kilometers in diameter, small in size, naturally weak in gravity, Earth. Here, I feel like I can become a Superman. I'm excited to drive a probe and hold on to the surface of the magnetic field. But the speed of escape here is only 41 kilometers per hour. I accidentally stepped on the throttle a little bit, and I couldn't come back. I'm with my probe floating alone into the infinite void, staring at that little planet getting farther and farther away from me. My ending is after the oxygen of the life-sustaining system runs out, suffocating in absolute solitude. What is ironic is that Jupiter is also destined to be destroyed. It is falling to Mars at a speed of 2 centimeters per year. About 50 million years later, it will be completely torn apart by the gravity of Mars. Overall, this experience is fun. I'll give Jupiter an 8. Because of speed and passion, I'm always in space. This kind of ironic and lonely ending is very story-driven. Now let's go to the coldest place in the solar system. Mars 1, Triton. The sunlight received here is 900 times less than that of the Earth. Any light will be reflected back into space by its cold surface. My spacecraft's external sensor reading shows minus 232 degrees Celsius. The air here is almost all gas, but the most fatal thing is that the ice point of the gas is minus 210 degrees Celsius. This means that in Triton, even the air itself will freeze on my face. This extreme coldness can't be resisted by any spacecraft for a long time. I can feel the heat of the life-sustaining system flowing rapidly. My lungs feel prickly because the air is getting colder and colder. The blood seems to be frozen. It is said that there is a glacier here, but I have no chance to see it. In such an environment, death only takes a few minutes, and because of the extreme coldness, the body will be numb and feel no pain. In this experience, I give Triton a score. There is only unbelievable coldness here. It's not fun at all. It's too fast. There is no sense of experience. It's bad. Let's go to Jupiter, which we are familiar with. The weather here is completely different, so I can experience a series of very exciting hanging methods. Let me start with Jupiter, the largest satellite in the solar system. It has a diameter of 5,270 kilometers. This satellite is larger than Mercury. It is not only huge, but also has a metal iron core, making it the only satellite that has its own magnetic field. As its magnetic field and Jupiter's magnetic field continue to interact, this satellite has a strong aurora. But behind this beautiful view is a death trap. Because Jupiter's magnetic field is so strong and huge, so that Ganymede is actually running inside its magnetic field. And Ganymede has its own magnetic field. The interaction between the two magnetic fields may be extremely destructive. So running near Jupiter makes me in the huge and fatal radiation belt of Jupiter. The intensity is comparable to an exposed nuclear reactor core. Ganymede's electronic equipment is very fragile. Strong radiation instantly destroys my electronic system. Then comes the life support system that is being compressed. Such rapid compression makes the air in my body rush out of my lungs and form bubbles in my blood vessels. The blood boils instantly. The saddest thing is that I didn't realize that the aurora here was the infrared light. I couldn't see anything. I wanted to give this satellite a 7, but I didn't see the aurora. I could only give it a 1. The next stop is Callisto. This is the oldest target of the solar system and has the most meteorite pits. The reason I came here is because there is almost no geological activity. Unlike many other satellites and planets, the volcanic eruptions there and the movement of the plates or other forces will repeat on the surface with the passage of time. The geological surface of Callisto has hardly changed. There is no atmosphere layer here. This means that nothing can protect me. A tiny meteorite at a speed of 50,000 kilometers per hour easily pierced my astronaut suit like a supersonic bullet. Compressed, the body cracked, and then froze in an environment of 140 degrees Celsius below zero. This way of hanging off is the same as this planet, unchanged. The scene is not very beautiful. In this experience, I can only give Calixto a 2. But when it comes to the ugly scene, it's Mu Wei. When the spaceship slowly approaches the planet full of yellow sulfur, volcanic eruptions, and lava flows, it is enough to show that this is a real hell. So, I decided to give up this landing. The next target, I think I should look at the famous satellites, such as Mu Wei and Calixto. This is the largest satellite of Pluto, but Pluto is very small, so all its satellites are obviously very small. This means that gravity is very weak. So, the escape speed here is 2,100 kilometers per hour. I can step on the throttle. Look, Calixto's surface is covered with mountains and valleys. These features show that there have been unstable geological activities. This is because billions of years ago, Calixto's geological activity was very active. Calixto's internal heat caused its ice shell to crack, forming a huge structure crack, and even caused the ice volcano to erupt. But that era is long gone. Because there is no tidal heat from Pluto, Calixto cools down and becomes a frozen, quiet world. But my wheels are stuck. There is no violent death here, only endless waiting. Communication is interrupted, and rescue is hopeless. My ending is not hanging, but on this cold planet with eternal loneliness until the supply runs out. In this experience, I give Calixto 6 points. Although there is no instant excitement, this kind of long despair has a different flavor. In the last stop, I finally returned to a familiar place, the moon. From here, I can clearly see that blue home. A false sense of security comes to life. I can even see you looking at me on the Earth. But the danger comes from the smallest place. A small meteorite hit left an almost unnoticeable crack on my helmet. The surface of the moon is extremely small, sharp, and has a static dust. Through the crack, it enters my respiratory system. These dusts are like countless tiny pieces of glass tearing my lungs from the inside. I began to cough up blood, and eventually suffocated in my own blood. My eyes are still looking at the distant Earth. This ending is full of drama and tragedy. I can look at my home, but I can't go back. My journey ends here. Every mission ends with proving the same thing. In the vastness of the universe, life is a very fragile coincidence. We look up at the starry sky to find the next home, or to see ourselves better. Perhaps the end of exploration is not to find the next planet, but to learn how to protect what we are lucky enough to have.